We are now live. Hope everybody's had a great, what day do we got now? Wednesday. Hope everybody's had a great Wednesday thus far. I'm about to make it better. Let's see if we can get some better lighting here from my Facebook audience. But hope everybody's having a great day. Either way, we're going to get started. Either way, whether we get this lighting right or not. Actually, we're going to get the lighting right and we're going to get started. Actually, we're going to do both. So I'm going to pin my comment here. Y'all see what the topic is over on... All right, y'all see what the topic is here on Instagram. I just posted that. Facebook, y'all see what the topic is. It is right up there in the description of this live right here. I have no idea why this light is so poor. It's a little bit dark right now. But as y'all coming in, y'all know what it is. Tell me your name and location in the comment section. We're going to get started in just one moment. There it is. Facebook, as y'all checking in. We're getting started in a minute. Tell me your name and location in the comment section. I don't know why that apostrophe is down there in the title. Ain't no apostrophe in that in that URL. That's hardworkaintenough.com. Hardworkaintenough.com is where you get the free masterclasses. Y'all come in. Tell me your name and location in the comment section. Name and location in the comments. We're going to get started in a moment. I'm just pulling up. I got to make sure I fix that because it's going to stay not fixed if I don't fix it right now. So I'm fixing it right now. Make sure that's right. That's hardworkaintenough.com. That's where you can get access to the free masterclass. It's a 94-minute masterclass. It is not for the dabblers. It's for people who are serious about taking their game where your game really needs to go. That's hardworkaintenough.com. Y'all see it right down there. But today's topic is not that. Today's topic is what makes the job a job. What is going to make the job actually a job? That's what we're going to talk about here today. So I hope everybody's had a great Wednesday. Tell me your name and location in the comment section, and I'm gonna shout a couple people out. Eyeball24 was good. Killian from Romania. You the first one with the name and location. So shout out to you. Gabe Maine, as y'all checking in, tell me your name and location in the comments. We getting started in just 1 minute. Actually, less than 1 minute. We're going to get started. I'm going to introduce myself, and then we're going to get right into this. If you're watching this on Facebook, whether you're watching live or you're watching replay, hit that share button. Make sure you share this with somebody who needs it, because there's a lot of people out here who need to step their game up. They might not even know they need to step their game up. Just share it. And just plant the seed, just plant the seed. Sometimes you just got to let people know that something exists and then hope that they pick up on it. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But listen, all you could do is just drop it. If they do something with it, they do. If they don't, they don't. Swan checking in from Paris. What's going on? Facebook tell me I got a low network connection, which makes no sense as much as I pay for internet here. But anyway, the topic here today, everybody, y'all see it. What makes the job a job? Let me introduce myself real quick. Ivan from Miami. What's good? My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre all day. I'm a former 9-year professional basketball player, played 9 years overseas. In doing that, I have become an author of 25 books. Book number 26 is sitting right here in front of me. I can't show it to you because I have not released it to the public yet, but y'all will know about that in short order. I'm working on putting some sales pages and stuff together for that. Very soon you'll know about it, and it is for a specific niche audience. But anyway, I've done 4 TED Talks. I published over 7,000 YouTube videos, 7,000 articles written by me, and what else? 1,500 podcast episodes. Yeah, we over 1,500 now, not 1,400 no more, 1,500 now. And all told, I've created over 15,000 pieces of content. I've done over 1,000 of these live streams. And everything that I talk about all goes under the philosophy that I call work on your game. It's a philosophy, it's a brand, it's a mindset, it's a framework, it's a lifestyle that I created, it's a whole company I created called Work on Your Game, which is all about getting into the top 1% of what you do. That's what you got to do to become a professional athlete. You got to be in the top 1% in the world at what you do, not just in your physical ability, but in the way that you approach your game mentally every single day. That's what Work on Your Game is about. One of my 25 books is called Work on Your Game, where I explain that entire philosophy. The best points of that philosophy that you need to understand if it's brand new to you is right here in this book. And then all the other books go into different detailed areas of that framework. But this is the God of the framework right here is Work on Your Game, the whole philosophy. But what we talking about here today, all that being said, today I'm giving you a piece of this whole Work on Your Game philosophy. This piece is what makes the job a job, because any of you who's followed me for any amount of time, you may know that the 4 principles of the Work on Your Game philosophy are discipline, to show up every day and do the work, confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, even when the success you expect has yet to be achieved, and the personal initiative to go and get it started and actually make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. So what we're talking about here today is that very first principle of the Work on Your Game philosophy, which is discipline, showing up every single day and doing the work. And I want y'all to understand, you will understand fully why a job is actually a job. And I don't care what kind of job it is. It could be pro basketball. Like I say here every day, pro basketball is the best job you could possibly have, but it's still a job. Being an actor is a great job, I'm sure. I've never been an actor, but it is still a job. Being an influencer or being an author or being an Instagram model or being a regular model, a runway model, being a photographer, being a fill in the blank with whatever you think would be an amazing, fun job. Being a stripper, being a gigolo, being a singer, being a rapper, they're all probably very fun jobs, and they probably all come with their perks and bonuses, but understand that every single one of them is still a job. And I'm going to explain to you here today why the job is a job, just in case, for a couple different types of people. Number one, for those of you who might not have a job right now and you're thinking about getting into one and you're trying to look for something that you might consider to be easy or is going to be a simple path and there won't be any grind involved in it, I'm going to help you understand that it's still going to be a job no matter what it is. Also, for those of you who already have a job, maybe you've already chosen a career path, you are already doing the thing that you're doing, and maybe you run into some rough patches and things aren't going as smoothly as you thought they would. The job is not as easy as you thought it would be. It's asking a little bit more of you, demanding rather, a little bit more of you than you thought would be demanded of you. And you're wondering, maybe I made a mistake. Maybe I shouldn't be here. Maybe I chose the wrong thing. Maybe I'm the wrong person. I am going to help you understand that all contraire. No, you are not the wrong person. You didn't make a mistake. You didn't make the wrong decision. It's just that you didn't know that the job was a job. I'm going to help you understand that here today. And for those of you who have already chosen a certain path and maybe you're thinking about changing paths, maybe this job is too hard, that job will be easier. Maybe the grass is greener on the other side of this fence over here. I want you to understand that no matter what you choose to do for a living, if you decide to get to the highest level of it, if you decide to get into that top 1%, like professional athletes do, like anybody who follows the work on your game philosophy does mentally from the inside out, anything you choose to do, the job is still going to be a job. Meaning, it's not always going to be a cakewalk. It's not always going to be a walk in the park. It's not always going to be easy. And there'll be things that you're going to have to do that if you do them will separate you from everybody else out there who is just along for the joyride. Everybody understand that. If you don't, listen to it again on the replay. Now let's get right into the points. Today's topic, once again, is what makes the job a job. Points. Actually, before I even get into the points, I remember how long ago was this? Maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I had posted this video on maybe Instagram or YouTube. I don't know what it was, but I was doing some dribbling drills on Instagram or YouTube. Anybody with a question or comment, I will address them all at the end of the stream. Once I get into my points, I'll address all questions and comments at the end. So I posted this video and somebody said in the comment section, Dre, I know you don't play ball anymore, which I don't, if y'all didn't know that. And they said, Dre, do you ever get the urge to play basketball again? And I don't know if I responded to their comment, but the answer to the question is, yeah, of course. I get the urge to play basketball. I get the urge to, if I see some people playing pickup at some park, I'll look at them, watch them play for a little bit, and I'm like, man, when I'm in game shape, which I'm not in basketball game shape, but I'm in great shape. But when I'm in basketball game shape, I get on there and dominate these kids. I dunk on him. I block that shot. He wouldn't have made that. I score all on these people. He's supposed to be a defender. I score on him easy. I'm thinking of it. I'm like, yeah, all these things that I could do. Or if I watch a basketball game and you who's a basketball player, when you watch a basketball game and it's an exciting game, you feel excited like, man, I want to go play basketball right now. Or when you talk about maybe a past basketball experience or you think about some possible future experience, you might get yourself excited to want to go play right now and go play. But I want you to understand something. I'll tell you from my perspective, and I want all you athletes and everybody else out there to understand this. If all it took to play basketball was just playing basketball, I would still be playing basketball. I'd still be a professional athlete. And right now, what I'd be doing is probably talking to my trainer every day, making sure I was staying in game shape. So whenever I was able to resume basketball activities, I'd be ready to do it. I would still be playing ball to this very day. I'm 38 years old. I'll still be playing because I'm still in good enough shape that I can play basketball. However, that's not all it takes. It takes a little bit more than that. See, if all it took to be a great actor or actress was just show up at the what do they call it, at the shooting, at the filming, and just say some lines 1 or 2 times, and then you go home and you get a big check for that, then a lot of people would be an actor or actress. If all it took to be a school teacher maybe was to show up and teach a couple classes maybe for a couple hours a day, a lot of people might take that job and be a school teacher. If all it took to be a model was to just show up at the photo shoot, walk up and down the runway a couple times, let people take pictures of you and people tell you how beautiful you were after the show, then a whole lot of people would be models. But all you need to understand that the job is a job, meaning is not just the shiny part. It's not just the fun part. It's not just the fanfare part that everybody knows about it. There's a whole lot more that goes into the work besides the stuff that the fans know about. You understand what I'm saying? I would still be playing ball. You wouldn't be listening to me right now. There wouldn't be a podcast. It wouldn't be 25 books and maybe a couple books. It might not be 25 of them, though. Actually, it definitely wouldn't be 25 because I'd be dedicating so much time to the basketball that I wouldn't have time to write books. Actually, maybe I would, because if all I had to do was show up to the games, that's easy. So what we're talking about here today is why the job is a job, because if all these elements that I'm about to share with you today didn't exist, then a whole lot of things would be different in this world. And a lot of people who have the talent or the desire even to do something, they would be doing it rather than just talking about it. The reason why a lot of people can only talk about being a basketball player or an athlete or a politician or an entrepreneur or a model or whatever is because the job is a job. And you'll understand what I mean as I get into these points. Point number one. Number one thing that you need to understand about the job being a job is the practice that allows the games to look easy. The practice that allows the games to look easy. So when you go, any of you ever been to a Broadway show, or even not even Broadway, but any kind of theater play where the actors and actresses are actually performing right there on the stage in front of you live, so you know they didn't edit out any of the mess up parts or anybody missed the line. They can't edit it out because everybody's sitting there watching. Understand that when they do that show and it seems so flawless and perfect and such a great show, you give them a standing ovation at the end, they make it look easy, don't they? They make it look very simple. They make that performance look flawless. Here's the thing. For every one time that they have performed the show in front of an audience of paying customers like you, they practice that show probably 20 to 50 times, maybe even more than that, depending on the level that they're at. I don't know anything about the theater world, but anybody who does would probably tell you. If you ever meet somebody there, ask them, how many times do you rehearse the play in ratio to how many times you actually perform the play for an audience? I guarantee you it's going to be at least 20 times. It might be closer to 100. And that's what makes the job a job, the work that you got to do in the background. Now, going back to the story I told you at the beginning, when I walked past some people playing 5-on-5 basketball, I'm like, man, I could dominate those guys in basketball if I just spent a couple weeks getting in shape. Here's the thing you need to understand, or getting in basketball shape, rather. But here's the thing that you need to understand. I told y'all that I said this many times. I had a 10-to-1 ratio of practices to games when I played basketball. And I don't mean just 5-on-5 official games. I mean any kind of game, 1-on-1, horse, 3-on-3, half court, rec league, pickup, whatever. I practiced at least 10 times for every one time that I played in the game. And I want you to understand the reason why my game was smooth is because of the amount of practice that I put in. Now, even though yesterday I just told you, you are not judged on what you do in practice, but what you do in practice will usually show up when you play in the game. Now, there are a few anomalies, people who don't really practice that much, but they're great in the game. All right, don't fool yourself into thinking that you're the exception. All right. Most of the people who are great performers have put in a ton of practice. There are a few who claim that they don't really practice hard and they become amazing. Maybe they're telling the truth. Maybe they're not. We will never know. What I know is what I'm telling you right now is that the practice is what makes the game look easy. If you want to make your performance look easy and flawless and as if you just rolled out of bed and just do it naturally, then you got to practice so hard to make it look like you don't practice. That's what makes the professions the professions. The doctor, how he's able to do everything so smoothly because the amount of practice the doctor did before he ever saw a single patient, he or she. With the lawyer, the accountant, the entrepreneur, the salesperson, the rapper, the singer, the violinist, they do so much practice that you never see that when the lights come on, all the stuff they did in the dark comes out of them naturally simply because they practice it so much. And understand, this is part of the game. For athletes, it's a direct translation. Hours of training, you got to practice with the team for hours. You got icing, you got to get in the ice tubs, you got the recovery sessions, the foam rolling, the stretching. For a writer, for example, anyone who writes books, somebody like myself, you got to you do the actual writing, the thing that words that y'all end up reading on the paper of the book. But then there's the editing of the writing, there's the rewrites of the writing, there's the research that you got to do to make sure your information is right or whatever your book is about. For a musician, you got to record and re-record your music. But then you still got to pay for the time that you're recording. For anyone who's a musician, I don't know if we have any musicians listening or you know anyone who's a musician. All the time they spend recording, that recording time costs money. If you go to a studio, you got to pay. If you have an engineer or a producer, that person has to get paid. If you have anybody working with you, they got to get paid. So the time that you spend rehearsing, which is just practice, you got to pay money just to practice. Any of you know a golfer? All right, golfing is not a very cheap sport. Tennis, another sport that's not cheap. All the practice time costs something because you have to pay somebody just for you to even use the facilities or use the golf course or have a trainer work with you or whatever it is that you have access to. All of that makes the job a job. So don't think that just because you saw somebody performing in something that's the thing that you should be doing, because the performance is the easy part. That's why I tell people all the time about the basketball world, and you can say this about any sport. The performance is the easy part. All right, it's easy to perform. It's easy. Again, as I said, if all basketball was just playing in the games, I would still be playing basketball right now. Maybe not right now because nobody can play basketball right now. All the gyms are closed. But I'd still be a basketball player, and I would not be doing this right now. I wouldn't be talking to you if all basketball was playing in the basketball games, or football, baseball, whatever sport. What makes an athlete walk away from playing a sport? I tell you every day when I tell you about this book right here. What do I say about being a professional basketball player? I say it's the best job in the world you could possibly have. Is the least amount of work that you could ever have to do to be a full-time professional at what you do. And you're literally playing a game. Your job is to play a game. Basketball is a game. It's fun, right? Games are fun, right? Don't you notice, if you really think about this, people get off work. They work 9 to 5, get off work, and then they go to the gym to play basketball for fun. You could do that for a living. Can you imagine? When you get this book, you won't have to imagine it. It could be your reality. But what I want you to understand is this. The reason why athletes stop playing basketball, why stop playing? If it's so fun and it's so easy and it's so little work, Dre, why would anybody stop playing basketball? Why did you stop playing basketball if you were still able-bodied enough to play? Why stop playing if it's so easy? Well, here's why. Because the game is the only the part that you know about. See, what you don't know about is the off-season training. What you don't know about is the 2-a-day practices. What you don't know about is getting in those ice tubs. What you don't know about is the deep tissue massages. What you don't know about is the times where you don't really feel like practicing, but you have to practice, and you might not even get in the game. What you don't know about is recovering from an injury or something like that, where you're not even playing in the games, but you still got to do all the training. What you don't know about is everything outside of the game, which is 95% of being a professional at what you do, at least one who's actually good. If you're really good at what you do and you're a professional, especially something that is very selective, where not everybody makes it no matter how good you are, like sports, okay? Most of the job is the stuff that the fans don't see, stuff that nobody knows about. Only the people who are on the inside know about it. Understand all the stuff that you don't see that an athlete has to do, or a musician has to do, or a rapper or a speaker or an author has to do. The fans don't know about it, but if they didn't do that thing, if they didn't do those things, they wouldn't have any fans. See, all the things that you do as a performer that gets you fans, if you didn't do the practice when they're not watching, there would be no fans. All right, the fans only exist because of the work that you put in on the back end, so that when it's time to perform, you get out there and do what you're supposed to do. Point number 2. The topic, for those who came in the middle of this, the topic today is what makes the job a job, and I will take all questions at the end. Number 2 thing that makes it a job, the fact that you are disciplined enough and willing enough to do the unsexy stuff consistently, because you understand as soon as you stop doing that stuff, depending on how much talent you have or how much of a resume you have, you're out of the game. Game's over. As soon as you stop doing the work to stay at that level, you will not be in the game anymore. Now, some people can kind of coast by on their reputation when they get to a certain point. Some people do this in all professions. They may get to a certain level where they perform a certain amount and they got such a strong reputation that they can stop really doing the work, and they can kind of coast by on their reputation and coast by on their resume and slowly get phased out of the game. Some people can do that. They earn the right to do that, or at least they think they've earned the right to do it, and they get away with it for long enough before they get kicked out of the game. Everyone else, they haven't earned the right to do that, meaning as soon as you stop doing the work, the game's over. As soon as you stop, the game is over. For example, let's say who's an athlete who's really good. Like, let's say Michael Jordan. He don't play anymore, and he didn't actually fit this description. Let's just use him as an example. And Michael Jordan got to the point he won all those championships, and then he decided, I'm going to stop working on my game so much. I'm going to stop getting in such great shape in the offseason. I'm going to just coast by. I could probably play another 5 years just on the reputation of being Michael Jordan. People are going to keep wanting to have me around. Even if I'm not that good anymore, I'm still pretty good, but I ain't that good because I'm not working on my game anymore. Michael Jordan could have stayed in the league and collected a whole bunch more checks, a lot of money, just off the reputation of being Michael Jordan without doing the work. Now, I'm not saying Michael Jordan did that. Of course, we know that he didn't. But he could have did it simply because he has such a resume. His resume was all the way up here that people would have allowed that of Michael Jordan. But now, you think of somebody else on that team. Think of somebody like Randy Brown, who some of y'all know who Randy Brown is. He was a backup guard on the Chicago Bulls. If Randy Brown had decided to stop doing the work, understand his resume was down here. So if as soon as he stopped doing the work, he would have been out of the game completely. He wouldn't have had another job. They wouldn't have kept paying Randy Brown to be less than, he had to give everything he had to get here. Michael Jordan gave everything he had, he was up here. And it's not equal. It's not an equal deal, as you can understand. Some people have more talent. Some people have more games. Some people just have more accomplishments for whatever reason. If your accomplishments are not all the way at the top of the totem pole, as soon as you stop doing the work, the game's over. You're out of there. All right, you must be disciplined enough to keep doing that work in order to keep your job when you get to the pro level. Again, especially if you're doing something where people want to take your spot. So if you're in the music world and you're selling a lot of records, or you're getting a lot of streams, or you're getting a lot of fans to your shows, all right, there's another musician out there who wants to take your spot and get your fans, guaranteed. If you're an athlete, and sports is such a great analogy for a lot of stuff that I talk about, because in the sports world, a lot of people want the job, but not everybody can get the job. And as soon as you get a job in professional sports, I guarantee you there are 100 to 1,000 people who are working every single day trying to figure out how to take that job from you. That's not true in the entrepreneurship world, because anybody can be an entrepreneur. There's no limit on how many people can join entrepreneurship. There's no limit on how many people can be doctors. No limit on lawyers. There is kind of a limit on school teachers, but not really, because the job is not that coveted. But understand, professional sports, everybody wants that job, and everybody can't get it because there's a limit to how many people can get in, at least in team sports. So when you get that spot, as soon as you stop doing the work to maintain that spot, there's 1,000 people going to come in and take your job, guaranteed. So it's not like you're a person who you can slack off and say to the bosses or the people who run the thing, like, look, yeah, I'm slacking off, and yeah, I'm not working that hard, but who's going to replace me? Nobody else wants this job, so y'all ain't got no choice but to keep me. That's not the case in sports. In football, you're a wide receiver, and you don't want to practice anymore. You keep dropping the passes, or you're not running your routes properly. There's another receiver who's on the practice squad who will take your job. And the next year when they had a draft, they're going to draft a receiver to take your job. In the basketball world, if you don't want to show up and practice every day, okay, there's a bunch of players in the G League who will practice every day and take your job in the NBA. There's a bunch of players playing in some rec league at LA Fitness who will take your job overseas, or whatever the situation is. You understand the metaphorically what I'm saying here. You got to continue to do the work. That's what makes it a job. This is the one thing that separates people who do it for fun from people who do it for real. The one thing that separates the people who do things for fun and the people who do things for money is doing the work every single day, the work that the fans don't know about, the work that the audiences and the followers don't know about. The stuff that the authors do, see, just walking around and telling people about a book that you wrote, this is the fun part. Me telling you about this book and selling you this book is easy, is fun. I could do this all day, every day, twice on Sunday. But the act of actually writing this book and editing this book and going back and forth with the publishers and getting the designs and getting the book shipped out and getting it into the bookstores and all that, the packaging and all that other stuff that went into it, that took damn near 2 years that y'all don't know nothing about. All right, that's the part that makes me a professional at this. If all I had to do was just hold up the book and tell everybody about it, that's fine. Anybody can do that. But what about the work that went into making it become a reality? That's the part that makes it a job. That's the part that makes the pros. And that's the reason why, even though everyone admires the pros, not everybody can be a pro. Because that takes a certain level of discipline, commitment, and mental toughness, because it's not always going to be easy. Point number 3. And that leads me to right into point number 3. The topic, for those who came in the middle of this, the topic is, what makes the job a job? You want to know why jobs are called jobs? You want to know why a lot of people love watching professional sports, but only a few people can play? While a lot of people talk about writing a book, but only a few people actually write one. While a bunch of people would love to be influencers, but there are only a few influencers out there, because it's not as easy as it looks on the outside. And this is the third reason why. The useless effort, or the wasted time, I'm using air quotes there, quote unquote useless effort, quote unquote wasted time, that professionals understand is part of the process. But the amateur looks at as a sign that maybe they should give up, or maybe they need to go get more information, or maybe somebody needs to hold their hand. The professional understands it's part of the process. You see, when I was writing this book, for example, I'll just keep using this as an example. This book is probably about, how many words? It's about 65,000 words, this book right here. 250-page book is going to get you it's going to come out to about 60,000 words. When I originally wrote the first draft, the first manuscript of this book, it was 150,000 words. That's about 3 of these books in one. The first draft that I wrote was about 3 times as thick as this right here. And you know what we did for the next year and a half? We edited all 150,000 of those words all the way down to 65,000 words. And if you think that's easy, I suggest you try it, and you'll understand exactly what I mean. Now, you might say, well, damn, Dre, the book is 65,000 words. You wrote 150,000, so that basically means you wasted 100,000 words. You put out 150,000 words as that was a waste of time. You wasted all that time writing all those extra words, 100,000 extra words for no reason. No, that's not what it is. Professionals understand that the extra, what the amateurs call extra, what the amateurs call waste, what the amateurs say is, man, I did all of that for nothing. That's what the professional understands is part of the process. You have to go through the process. Any of you follow the NBA? Remember the Sixers a few years ago before they became good again? They had trust the process. They were going through the process. And they were saying trust the process because the team is bad for several years. They got a bunch of good draft picks. Eventually, they at least got 2 star players out of it for now, Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. That was the process. They had to go through a process. Michael Jordan. They got the Chicago Bulls documentary on ESPN, docu-series on ESPN right now. Michael Jordan had to go through a process. He didn't win the championship as soon as he came into the NBA. He was good. He was scoring points. He won some awards. But he had to go through years of losing, the main thing being winning the game for the team, right? He had to go through years of losing. It wasn't until his 7th year in the NBA that he won a championship. LeBron James went through years process of losing before he finally got to the point of winning a championship. Very rarely does somebody just walk into something and just dominate from the gate. And even when they do, they eventually get knocked down and they got to work their way back up all over again. Everybody. Magic Johnson's first year, he won the championship. But then he wasn't so good. Next year, he didn't do so great. Won again. Then he wasn't so great again. And then he had to work his way back up. So it happens to everybody. Everybody has to go through that process of things not working. And the periods that you go through when things are not working is not a waste of time. When you go through a period of things not working, that's part of the process that you have to go through. It's part of the growing pains. It's part of the learning. It builds the mental toughness. It reveals whether you're actually disciplined and serious about what you're doing, your profession, your craft. And it toughens you up from when you face that same challenge in the future that you're actually ready for it instead of letting it knock you down. All of those things are the benefits that come with going through the process. Go through the benefits that come through trying something that doesn't work. Putting something out there and nobody buys it. Sharing something and nobody's interested. Calling somebody and nobody's answering. Knocking on doors and nobody's opening the door for you. Those are all part of the process in being a professional that you must go through. And if you're not willing to do that, then you don't quite understand why the job is a job. And that's why it might be hard for you to get one. Amateurs think everything's supposed to just work. And when something doesn't work, the amateur gives up. Or the amateur starts complaining, or the amateur starts whining and feeling sorry for themselves. The professional understands this is all part of the job, and they keep working. They say, okay, now I learned something. Y'all know who Thomas Edison is, inventor of the incandescent light bulb. It is said that Thomas Edison tried 10,000 different ways to make the incandescent light bulb before he found a way that worked. 10,000 times he tried and failed. So each time that he failed, I don't think Thomas Edison 10,000 times said, man, maybe I should quit. Maybe I should give up. Maybe I shouldn't be an inventor. Maybe I shouldn't be a scientist. Maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe I need to get more information. Maybe I need to read 20 more books. Maybe I need somebody to help me out. Thomas Edison didn't do any of that. Every time he tried and it didn't work, all he did was take a note of what he tried, why it didn't work, or at least his theory of why it didn't work, and then he tried something else. And then he did it again and again and again, 10,000 times until he invented what we now have as the light bulb. Everybody here heard of the cleaning spray called Formula 409? I talked about it in this book right here. How did Formula 409 get its name? Because the scientists who created it tried 409 different combinations before they found the one that worked. And now it's called Formula 409 because they tried 409 times to make it right. And then it finally worked. So this is what you all need to understand. Being a professional is about doing the work over and over again, going through the process, going through the failures, noting what's working, noting what's not working, your theories on why, and coming back and doing it again with the exact same level of enthusiasm that you had the first time. If you're not willing to do that, then you ain't ready to be a pro. Or if you're already a pro, you're not going to last, or you're not going to go anywhere. Michael Jordan had a commercial back in the day where he said, 26 times I've been trusted to take the last shot, and I missed. 26 times I failed. But the reasons that I succeed is because I went through all those failures. That is part of the process. Dr. Dre, the rapper Dr. Dre, the other Dre. He talks about, well, he doesn't always talk that much, but people talk about him, how Dr. Dre will start making music, but if he doesn't get really excited about it and he's not really feeling it, he might have a whole album's worth of music and he won't put it out, and he'll say, you know what, this album's not coming out because I don't feel it's up to the Dr. Dre standard that I want it to be at. So that's why Dr. Dre only has, 3 albums in 30 years. Not because he doesn't make music, but because he only puts something out when he feels it's up to the standard that he wants it to be at. And he understands that all the music that he makes that he ends up scrapping and putting on the shelf and never letting the public hear it, that's all part of the process. It doesn't make him quit music. It just makes him say, oh, okay, I just got to keep working. Now I see this is not working. This is not really hitting the way I wanted to. Let me try something else. Let me try something else. That is all part of the process of being a pro. So I'm going to recap these points. I'm going to tell you about these books. I'm going to take questions. If you got a question, make it good. Keep it short. Put it in the comments. Topic is, what makes the job a job? People ask me, Dre, do you get the bug to go play basketball? Of course. Playing basketball is fun. Playing basketball is easy. The challenge with playing basketball is that if all it was playing basketball, Michael Jordan would still be playing if all you had to do was show up to the games and you could still be good. The problem is the training, the off-season workouts, the practices every day. That's the part that makes people stop playing sports. It's not the games. The game is the easy part. So next time you see an athlete, understand that no athlete stops playing because they get tired of the games. All right, the game is the funnest thing you could do in sports. It's the practices that make you stop playing. Point number 1, what makes the job a job is the practice that makes the games look easy. Like I just said, if you don't practice, then you won't make the games look easy. There are a few rare exceptions of people who don't practice and they make the games look easy. Don't fool yourself into thinking that you're one of them, because you're probably not. And the people who claim that they are, they were probably lying. For an athlete, you got the training, you got the practices, you got the ice buckets. For the writers, you got to edit, you got to research, you got to rewrite. For the musician, you got to record and re-record. You got to go to the studio, you got to pay your engineer. All these things that go into the practice that most of the fans do not know about. Point number 2. And if you don't do these things, point number 1 still, you don't do these things, you won't have fans. Point number 2, the fact that you are disciplined enough and willing to do the unsexy stuff consistently, because you know as soon as you stop doing the unsexy stuff, the sexy stuff goes away. All right, it's the unsexy work done in the dark that makes you look sexy in the light. Point number 3, the useless effort and wasted time, quote unquote, for both of those, that the professional understands is part of the process, but the amateur thinks means they should quit, or the amateur thinks they can shortcut it, the amateur thinks they don't have to go through it, the amateur thinks they can just skip that part and go right to the part where everything is rosy and shiny and they look like a star. The professional understands that it's all part of the game, that they got to put all the work in from the beginning, even the processes, the 10,000 times Edison tried and failed to make the light bulb, the 409 experiments that the scientists had to go through before they made Formula 409, the 26 times Michael Jordan tried the game-winning shot and missed, the 7 years he was losing before he finally won a championship. All that is part of the process of being a pro. If you're not willing to go through that, you ain't cut to be a pro. All that being said, I'll tell you about these 2 books right here. First of all, I'm going to tell you both of these books are already paid for. You get these books for free. All you got to do is take care of the shipping. Now let me tell you what they are, what they're going to do for your life, and why you want to get them and how to get them. This right here is The Mirror of Motivation. Subtitle is The Self-Guide to Self-Discipline. I wrote this book so you can start being who you truly need to be, who you know you are instinctively on the inside, so you can do what you truly need to do, so you can have what you actually want to have in your life and not what you have to accept and settle for in life. If that sounds like you, go to mirrorofmotivation.com, claim your free copy of this book while supplies last. Whenever I decide to stop offering this free, it's gone. Balloverseas.com is where you get this book, The Overseas Basketball Blueprint. This is specifically for the basketball player, male or female, who wants to play professional basketball while you still have the opportunity to do so you can travel the world, see the world, get all your travel, your food, your housing expenses all paid for by a professional basketball team who also pays you a salary to do what? Play basketball for a couple hours every single day. Now, you do need to have some game if you want to play professional basketball overseas, and this book will supply everything else. All right, this book is not going to make you good at basketball, but if you are good, this book will tell you everything you need to do with that game to get yourself in the overseas world, get yourself on a plane, get your passport stamped, go somewhere across the world and play professional basketball and get paid for it. I mean, there is no job better than this in the world, as I already said. Now, you got to do the work because it is still a job, but it is the best job in the world, being a professional athlete. Get this book at balloverseas.com. And remember that both of these books are already paid for. All you do is take care of the shipping. I ship this book to you worldwide. So a bunch of people listen to me right now who have already gotten either or both of these books, so they can tell you themselves. But it's balloverseas.com for this one, mirrorofmotivation.com for that one. So anybody got a question, I'll go ahead and take it in the comments section right now. So go ahead and post it. Make sure it's a good question and keep it short. Kill Yours says, how can I find you on Spotify? I'll give you $100 if you can figure that out. Andy 91282 checking in from LA. What's good? It's about 90 in Miami too. Effie Giannico checking in from Greece. Shout out to Greece. Kill yourself. You should be more known by people because you speak a lot of good things. Well, thank you. One person at a time. We'll take it. We'll take that one person at a time. How we get it. C Lord G1, what's going on? 2ODZ, what's good? Eyeball said, I don't see practicing as work. It's just what I do. Well, that's a good mindset. Hopefully you can keep that through your journey. C Lord said Thomas Edison hired a group of people to do it. Some say. We don't actually know. None of us was around back then. But the story still applies. The point still applies. He Got Game says, what do you feel about all these so-called trainers who wake up and think it's fast money, so they call themselves a trainer just to take these families' money? Well, I mean, it depends on who you're talking about, but I don't think they would call themselves that. If you were to accuse somebody of what you just said, I don't think anyone would agree to it. So, I mean, that's your opinion. You're entitled to it. But, hey, if somebody pays and they offer a service, then that's just the game. That's the game that you're in. If you think you could do better, then it's your job to make sure you help the people who need to be helped so that they don't get robbed or scammed by these so-called trainers that you're referring to. But I don't really have an opinion on it because I don't know who you're talking about. Workout Zerus says, I'm 21 with no college offers. What should I do first? What are you talking about? College offers for what? Offers for, like, you want to go to school and get an education? What are you talking about, a college offer? And where are you trying to go? That question is doesn't have enough information for me to give you an answer. So I'll wait for that person, see if they got a better way of stating that question with some better context. And while I wait for that, I'm going to tell you about these two books again. MirrorofMotivation.com. Get the self-guide, the self-discipline. The book is free. You take care of the shipping. MirrorMotivation.com. BallOverseas.com. Get the overseas basketball blueprint if you want to play professional basketball overseas. If you don't want to play ball overseas, you just want to play at the Equinox or at the local court, don't get this book. If you want to play professionally, go to balloverseas.com. Claim your free copy of this 237-page book while you still had the opportunity to do so. Question is, if you feel you sit around too much and you need to get off your ass, stop making excuses for yourself, get the Mirror Motivation book. Yeah, that's a good enough pitch for that. I think that sounds like the headline off the webpage. But if you know it, that's a good thing. All right, so this person who posted that last question, I don't see them in there no more. So maybe they didn't post again. So maybe they're not here. I appreciate you. He Got Game. Workout, here he is. He says, I'm going to play college basketball, but I have no college offers. And you're asking me what you should do? Well, you're 21 years old. You got to ask me a better question than that. I mean, I think you have a pretty solid idea of what you need to do. I mean, again, being that you're 21, you have an idea of what to do. You don't need me to tell you what to do. If you got a better question, you can ask it, but that question has to improve significantly if you want me to give my time to it. So, He Got Game said, which country do you enjoy playing in? Any country I was in. Every country I've ever been to, I enjoyed it, whether I was playing or not. Every country. You can read about me. If you want to read about me, go to dreallday.com/basketball. I don't even got that. It's not even in the menu, but dreallday.com/basketball is about me. But if you want to know about you, go to balloverseas.com. All right, so everybody, I'm doing these lives every single day, 5:15 p.m. Eastern. If you didn't know, 5:15 p.m. Eastern every day. Next Wednesday, I'm at a live virtual event, so I might not do it next Wednesday, but I will post probably Wednesday morning or something, let y'all know if I'm going to do it. But that's next week. For now, every single day, 5:15 p.m. Eastern. I'm doing these lives every single day. You already follow me on IG, so turn on your notifications so you catch these every time I go live. If you are not on my email list and getting the articles that I write all the time, then you need to go to workonmygame.com. Workonmygame.com, get the email. Or, and if you got any one of these books, I already got your email address. Or you can get that free class right there, hardworkaintenough.com. If you think hard work is all you need to be successful, somebody lied to you. Even though I say work on your game, it takes more than just work on your game to be good. Hardworkaintenough.com. Get that free masterclass where I teach you the 8 elements that you need to go along with hard work in order to be successful in life. And you need all 8. If you're missing one, you're going to come up short. Everybody, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Work on your game. Dre all day.